which is the Bombay Stock Exchange. It is the premier stock exchange in India and the first stock exchange which got a permanent license under the SCRA Act. Now, regarding the history origin of BSC, if you have a look on the slide, it is written that though now Dalal Street and BSC are synonymous with each other, it actually started under in Mumbai, in Bombay. It started in front of town hall under banyan trees. Then the brokers they shifted to MG Road and later on found a permanent place in Dalal Street. In terms of market capitalization, this is the 10th largest stock exchange in the world and one of the first stock exchanges which adopted online trading. The software for online trading used in BSC is BOLT, which is Bombay Online Trading, and the Sensex, which is the index of the Bombay Stock Exchange, having 30 securities, actually the benchmark equity, which reflects the health of the Indian economy. Now, like the other stock exchanges in India, it is also a demutualized entity, which I told you that the owners and the management is different so as to encourage professionalism in the working of the stock exchange. Apart from that, it is first and fastest stock exchange with a speed of 6 microseconds. So that is how much time is required to actually place an order, get it converted. And in 2017, uh, BSC formed its own subsidiary, which is known as INX, which is the first international exchange of India. It became operational in 2017, though you can see it was established on 30th December 2016. Can anyone tell me where INX is incorporated? Where is it situated? कौन सी इंडियन स्टेट में INX incorporated है? Where is it located? Any guess? International Exchange of India. So there you can deal in derivatives. You can deal in, now they applied for a license to deal in ADRs, GDRs. Which state of India is INX located in? Please try. No, Yashwardhan, not Delhi. Yes, Ashu is correct. It is Gujarat. INX is situated in Gujarat. Okay, so you can read about this. This is one of the latest exchanges of India and what kind of activities, what kind of securities are they dealing in. Just have a look. Okay, so trading system at BSC, all of you know that it has evolved from the open outcry system where the brokers they were shouting the bids on the floor of stock exchange to coming to a totally online system using Bolt software. Okay. Now, is the benefit of an online system is that people around India can trade on real-time basis, and all the clearance, all the settlement is taking electronically, and the problems which were faced in the physical trading have now been addressed to due to online trading. It has increased the convenience and as a result, it has also increased the participation in the market. Coming to the stock exchange, next largest stock exchange of India, which is the National Stock Exchange. Now, it was promoted by IDBI on the behest of the Government of India, formed in 1992, again located in Mumbai, and it is the 11th largest exchange in the world in terms of market capitalization. Apart from that, it is dealing both in equity and debt market, derivative market. Uh, the premier index for NSE is Nifty, which all of you know is an index with 50 major stocks. Apart from that, it also has a wholesale debt market, capital market, and huge number of participants. Okay, again a demutualized entity like the BSC, though it is majorly owned by financial institutions, bank, insurance companies, but being a demutualized entity, the management is different from the ownership. Okay, the software used here is NEAT, which is National Exchange for Automated Trading, and has a response time of less than 1 second. So this was about the two major exchanges in India. Now we have a look at what Euro issues are and how do domestic companies, the Indian companies who are looking for additional sources of capital, move to the international markets to raise funds. So you are moving beyond the domestic boundaries to raise funds for your business. How is that enabled? And what kind of permissions are required for the same? Now, under Euro issues, we'll be talking about ADRs, which is American Depository Receipt, GDR, Global Depository Receipt, and FCCB, Foreign Currency Convertible Bonds. Let us first understand what are the rules which are regulating these Euro issues. So, first is that issues will be done through depository receipt mechanism that I'll explain you when I'll introduce the concept of ADRs. Now, every Indian company which is moving to international markets needs the approval of the finance ministry, and they must get approval from RBI under the FERA-FEMA laws. Now, out of the two laws, which is the law which is actually in practice right now, FERA and FEMA में कौन सा law है जो अभी practice हो रहा है, implemented है? Which of the two laws is in practice? One of the laws has replaced the other. FERA stands for Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, while FEMA stands for Foreign Exchange Management Act. So, in the year 1998-99, FEMA replaced FERA, and then it was subsequently implemented in June 2000. Have you heard about these laws, anyone? Any idea what is the difference between the two laws? Okay, let's try and understand the difference now. FERA came somewhere around 1973. At that time, there was no globalization. All of you know that the actual reforms which came about, LPG reforms, they came in 1991. So prior to that, the laws related to foreign exchange were very strict, and if the rules were violated, then it was basically a criminal law. FERA was a criminal law, it was not a civil law. तो क्रिमिनल लॉ में अगर कोई वायलेशन होती है, किसी रूल की कोई सेक्शन की वायलेशन होती है, नॉट ओनली वाज देयर पेनल्टी for the same, but also proper jail sentence was there, prison sentence was there. So that created an atmosphere where people were actually hesitant to deal in foreign exchange. And that also promoted Hawala transactions. So I hope all of you have heard about Hawala transaction, Hawala trading, something which is illegal in nature. Hawala money, you have not heard of this term? Yes, any idea, Yash? What is the meaning? Anyone make a guess? We know that this is something which is violating the rules, so it is actually a punishable offense. It is the movement of money without actual movement of foreign exchange between two countries. तो इसमें क्या होता है, पैसा ट्रांसफर हो जाता है पर रिकग्नाइज्ड चैनल से नहीं होता। तो ना गवर्नमेंट के नोटिफिकेशन में आता है कि ये मनी मूव हुआ है, कोई उसका कोई रिकॉर्ड नहीं होता, बट मनी इज ट्रांसफर्ड। यश, यू वांट टू
पर
ऐड सम?
ये कॉमन ज्यादा टेररिस्ट ग्रुप, अगर आप न्यूज देखोगे तो सबसे ज्यादा टेररिस्ट को बोला जाता है
हाँ हाँ
कि
भाई, इलीगल है। पहले पॉलिटिशियंस ने भी बहुत यूज करा है, अब तो स्ट्रिक्टनेस हो गई है, सो दैट फ्रीक्वेंसी हैज ड्रॉप्ड। बट हाँ, जो भी इलीगल एक्टिविटीज है, इवन जो ये फॉरेन एम्बेसडर्स और एम्बेसी के लोग होते थे पहले, अपना जो रिपैट्रिएशन करते थे पैसा का अपनी कंट्री में, दैट ऑल्सो टुक प्लेस थ्रू दी हवाला रूट. So actually, this law was discouraging people to move through the formal channels. Then FEMA came in 1999, implemented in 2000. This was a civil law. तो अगर अब violation होती है तो उसकी penalty होती है, सीधा जेल punishment नहीं होती। फेरा में ऐसा होता था कि डायरेक्टली जेल पनिशमेंट हो जाती थी। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, अब आपने टर्म्स, जो बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट आपकी टर्म आई है, या कैपिटल अकाउंट, करंट अकाउंट, these terms which you use with respect to balance of payment, they actually were introduced under the FEMA law. What are current account and capital account transactions? करंट अकाउंट ट्रांजैक्शंस में क्या आता है अंडर बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट? This you must have done in economics. What all activities, cross-border activities, are included under current account transactions? Unilateral payments. By unilateral, you mean gifts and donations, payment of services, and most important part of current account transaction is your export import. Yeah, trade. Absolutely right. What about capital account transactions? Is there convertibility of capital account permitted? Is convertibility of capital account permitted in India? What do you mean by capital account convertibility? So, capital account is when an Indian sitting in India can invest in some asset in US, and that is completely permitted. Okay, so that is capital account transaction. Not only in some real asset but also in financial assets. All this comes under the capital account convertibility. So now the laws have been made more conducive to the global environment. Okay. Coming back to the euro issue, we start with ADRs and GDRs. Would anyone like to speak anything about a depository receipt, or what do you understand by ADR or GDR? Because all of us have heard this term. No idea, anyone? It's for investing in other countries' assets. Yes, basically, you are investing in the stocks of a foreign company when you are purchasing the depository receipts. अगर एक इंडियन कंपनी ने फॉरेन मार्केट में पैसा रेस करना है, कैपिटल रेस करना है, then it will go for either ADR or GDR. If a foreign company wants to raise money in the Indian market, it can go for IDRs, which are Indian depository receipts. Now, how does this system work? American depository receipt, just have a look at this point. American depository receipt is a negotiable certificate issued by a US bank representing a specified number of shares of a foreign stock on a US exchange. So let us take the example of any Indian company. The first Indian company to be listed in US was Infosys, and in terms of ADR, Reliance was the first company that raised money through ADRs. So if Reliance wants to approach the US market to raise money, then through a domestic custodian मतलब एक बैंक, domestic bank, Indian bank, it will approach a US based bank जो वहां का कस्टोडियन बन जाएगा. कस्टोडियन कौन है? जिसकी कस्टडी में शेयर्स हैं. नाउ दैट यूएस बेस्ड कस्टोडियन will issue depository receipts against the underlying Indian shares. किस रेशियो में डिपॉजिटरी रिसीट इशू होगी? 20:1. It means 1 ADR is equal to 20 shares of Reliance. So bundling up होती है सिक्योरिटीज की और फिर उसके अगेंस्ट डिपॉजिटरी रिसीट्स इशू होती हैं. Now, why does this bundling up of securities take place? Now, ADRs, but obviously are being issued in dollars. So sometimes to make the price more attractive for the US based investor, this bundling up of securities takes place. हाइपोथेटिकली बात करते हैं से जो अभी शेयर है, कन्वीनियंस के लिए हम मानते हैं कि रिलायंस का शेयर अभी 75 रुपीज में सेल हो रहा है. Okay, and say the exchange rate between dollars and rupees is $1 is equal to 75 rupees. Now, instead of selling an ADR of one share at $1 in the US market, what does the bank, US based bank do? It is bundling up these shares. So, अब shares worth 1500. Okay, 75 into 20, 1500 are being bundled up and made 1 ADR. तो अब इसकी वैल्यू $20 हो जाएगी. 1 ADR की वैल्यू $20 हो जाएगी. आई रिपीट माई क्वेश्चन. Repeat this example. One share of Reliance is available for 75 rupees, which is actually equal to $1. Now, this is a price which might seem to be very low in the US market. So, to make this share attractive for the US investor, 20 shares are bundled up in one ADR and they are being sold for $20 per ADR. So, in this value, you're actually increasing the attractiveness of the depository receipt. That is why many a times, most of the times, the depository receipts actually represent more than one share of the company it represents. Bundling of shares takes place. Okay. Now the US based investor will invest in these depository receipts. They represent equity shares, but they do not carry any voting rights. The ADRs do not carry any depository receipts, do not carry any voting rights. So, in that sense, it is a good option for the company which is raising money. Apart from that, when dividend is declared in the Indian market, अब रिलायंस इंडियन फर्म है, जब यहाँ पर डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर होगा तो यूएस में जो इन्वेस्टर है he or she will receive the dividend in dollars at the whatever exchange rate is valid, current exchange rate pe they will be receiving the dividend in dollar denomination. Okay, so let's move. Let's again have a look at these steps. And if there's doubt in any of these steps, you can ask. Okay, this I've taken from SlideShare. It has a very good explanation of what ADRs are and how are they issued. So it is a stock that trades in stock exchange. Now many of the Indian companies are actually resorting to this route to raise money from the US market. Each ADR represents a specific number of shares in a foreign corporation. They pay dividend in dollars, traded on NYSE, Nasdaq, Amex in the United States. They were introduced in 1927. Now, what is the reason behind going for an ADR instead of directly issuing shares, directly listing these shares on the foreign exchange? Now, obviously, the rules, regulations, SEC, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission, US regulatory authority, they have their own rules. So the complexities of getting the share listed are more as compared to issuing an ADR in the US market. So US based banks, which are depositories, they will purchase shares from the foreign company through the domestic custodian. They are then bundled up into groups and issued in the stock markets in US. So, like I gave you example, in return the foreign company, that is say in our case, our example, it was Reliance, it has to provide complete financial information to the depository bank. ADR ratio can be say 20 is to 1. Here the example is given for 10 is to 1. 10 shares of foreign company are equal to 1 ADR. The ratio is set last point in such a way that ADR's price is high enough to show substantial value, yet low enough to make it affordable to the retail investors. So example I have also shared with you. This is another example. So a Russian based stock is trading at 50 rubles, which is equivalent to 1.50 US dollars. So they are bundled up, and then the say here the okay, so they have taken the value at $4.58 for 127 Russian rubles, which are the shares are then bundled into ratio 10 is to 1, where each ADR represents 10 shares on the Russian stock exchange. So this will make the value of one ADR equal to $45.8. So instead of $4.58, now 45.8 becomes more attractive to the American investor. Coming to the advantages of ADR, it is cost effective as compared to getting the share listed in the exchange directly. Then diversification for the company that is raising funds, you are able to raise through various markets. More US exposure means more goodwill for the company, more visibility in the eyes of the normal investor in domestic market also. Then apart from that, obviously the ADRs are not risk free. All the types of cross border risk you can think of, one is political risk. So अगर होम कंट्री जो इशुअर कंट्री है वहाँ पर पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी नहीं है, so this becomes a very risky investment. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट एक्सचेंज रेट रिस्क भी है, क्योंकि आपको जो डिविडेंड मिलना है अमेरिकन इन्वेस्टर को दैट विल बी in dollars, so the domestic dividend needs to be converted to dollars. And then inflation risk is also there. What is the inflation in the home country versus the inflation in the foreign country in US? So Indian companies listed abroad, as I told you, Reliance was the first to get an ADR issued, and now you think of any big Indian company, any big bank, they have their ADRs abroad. So dividend payment, I have told you, dividend payment is actually the source of currency risk, because dividend is declared in home currency and then it is being converted to dollars. So if home currency is appreciating vis-a-vis the dollars, then less number of dollars will be received. So for that, example is also given. Let us see, let us try to understand the example. So ADRs of a French company pay an annual cash dividend of 3 euros per share. Now this French company has its ADR in the US market, which means जो अब dividend है 3 euros का, that also needs to be distributed to the American investor. Now, simplicity के लिए it has been assumed that 1 euro is equal to $1, which means the ADR will give a dividend of $3 per unit. Okay. Now, if the euro was to decline in value to exchange rate, so the domestic currency depreciates. Sorry, I used the term appreciate first. It is actually depreciation in the home currency that will adversely impact the payment of dividend. So here, if the value of euro is depreciating to by $0.75, then the dividend payment becomes 2.25. And when the euro strengthens to 1.50, यानी कि होम करेंसी जो है वो एप्रिशिएट हो रही है $1 से it becomes 1.5 euro per dollar. तो अब कितनी डिविडेंड पेमेंट मिलेगी टू द यूएस बेस्ड इन्वेस्टर? नाउ ही विल बी रिसीविंग $4. Okay, because the dividend payment there has increased. पहले 3 यूरोस पे $3 ही मिल रहे थे, अब 3 यूरोस पे $4 मिलेंगे when you are converting at this exchange rate. Okay, this advantages and disadvantages we have discussed. You can just before I move to GDR, please have a look at this summarized working. If there's any doubt, because this working is same for ADR and GDR. So if you understand this working, the explanation is the same. Only difference being ADRs are to raise money in American markets, while GDRs are to raise money in the global market or non-American markets. So please have a look at this working. If there's any doubt, any question, you can ask. No question. Okay, then I will move to GDRs. So, certificate issued by depository bank of a foreign country for the home country's shares. Same definition. It is a depository receipt which is sold outside the US and the home country of the issuing company. So it is a non-US based depository receipt. Again, bundling of shares is taking place. You have a domestic bank, you have a foreign bank, and these shares are being bundled up into depository receipts and they are being issued by the foreign depository bank. Major Indian companies having their GDRs abroad. Again, all the big companies are raising funds through this route. Advantages: increasing the shareholder base, diversifying the funding, providing access to the foreign capital markets. But then again, there are a number of risks which are involved. So, currency risk, inflation risk, and political risk are the biggest disadvantages related to the depository receipts. Okay, so we'll stop here.